How are you doing? Inshallah, next time we will do. It's just one word because we don't have time. So you're just gonna read. No, not even voice. Just as well the last thing. That's it. Because it's 7:30. So once that's done, 7:35. Then we have to do our 6 hours and then majlis, and then you just stop. So then we need to have tomorrow. You can go to the last thing. You see, to stop the dua at 7:30.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم رب شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن وافترضت على عبادك فيه الصيام، صل على محمد وآل محمد وارزقني حج بيتك الحرام في عامي هذا وفي كل عام، واغفر لي تلك الذنوب العظام فإنه لا يغفرها غيرك يا رحمن يا علام. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أفتتح الثناء بحمدك وأنت مسدد للصواب بمنك، وأيقنت أنك أنت أرحم الراحمين في موضع العفو والرحمة، وأشد المعاقبين في موضع النكال والنقمة، وعظم المتجبرين في موضع الكبرياء والعظمة. اللهم أزنت لي في دعائك ومسألتك، فاسمع يا سميع مدحتي، واجب يا رحيم دعوتي، وأكل يا غفور أثرتي. فكم يا إلهي من كربة قد فرجتها، وهموم قد كشفتها، وأثرة قد أقلتها، ورحمة قد نشرتها، وحلقة بلاء قد فككتها. الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا، ولم يكن له شريك في الملك، ولم يكن له ولي من الذل، وكبره تكبيرا. الله. الحمد لله بجميع محامده كلها على جميع نعمه كلها. الحمد لله الذي لا مضاد له في ملكه ولا منازع له في أمره. الحمد لله الذي لا شريك له في قليلا من كثير ما حاجة بي إليه عظيما، وغناك عنه قديم وهو عندي كثير وهو عليك سهل يسير. اللهم إن عفوك عن ذنبي، وتجاوزك عن خطيئتي، وسفهك عن ظلمي، وسترك على كبيه عملي، وحلمك عن كثير جرمي، عندما كان من خطئي وعمدي، أتواني في أن أسألك ما لا أستوجبه منك، الذي رزقتني من رحمتك، واريتني من قدرتك، وعرفتني من إجابتك، فصرت أدعوك آمنا وأسألك مستانسا لا خائفا ولا وجلا، مدلا عليك فيما قصدت فيه إليك، فإن أبت عني أتبت بجهلي عليك، ولعل الذي أبت عني هو خير لي لعلمك بعاقبة الأمور. فلما أرى مولا كريما أصبر على عبد لئيم منك عليه، يا رب إنك تدعوني فأولي آن، وتتحبب إلي فأتبغض إليك، وتتودد إلي فلا أقبل منك، كأن لي التطول عليك، فلم يمنعك ذلك من الرحمة لي والإحسان إليك والتفضل علي بجودك وكرمك، فارحم عبدك الجاهل وجد عليه بفضل إحسانك، إنك جواد كريم. الحمد لله مالك الملك مجري الفلك مسخر الرياح فالق الإصباح ديان الدين رب العالمين. الحمد لله على حلمه بعد علمه، والحمد لله على عفوه بعد قدرته، والحمد لله على طول أنات في غضبه، وهو قادر على ما يريد. الحمد لله خالق الخلق باسط الرزق فالق الإصباح ذي الجلال والإكرام والفضل والإنعام، الذي بعد فلا يرى وقرب فشهد النجوى تبارك وتعالى. الحمد لله الذي ليس له مناذر يعادل، ولا شبيه يشاكل، ولا ظهير يعاذد، قهر بعزته العزاء وتواضع لعظمته العظماء، فبلغ بقدرته ما يشاء. الحمد لله الذي يجيبني حين أنادي، ويستر علي كل عورة وأنا عصيم، ويؤزم النعمة علي فلا أجازي، فكم من موهبة هنية قد أعطاني، وعظيمة مخوفة قد كفاني، وبهجة مونكة قد أراني، فأثني عليه حامدا وأذكره مسبها. الحمد لله الذي لا يهتك حجابه ولا يغلق بابه ولا يرد سائل ولا يخيب آمل. الحمد لله الذي يؤمن الخائفين وينجي الصالحين ويرفع المستضعفين ويضع المستكبرين ويهلك ملوكا ويستخلف آخرين. والحمد لله قاسم الجبارين مبير الظالمين مدرك الحاربين نكال الظالمين صريخ المستصرخين موضع حاجات الطالبين معتمد المؤمنين. الحمد لله الذي من خشيته ترعد السماء وسكانها وترجف الأرض وأمارها وتموج البحار ومن يسبح في غمراتها. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله الذي يخلق ولم يخلق ويرزق ولا يرزق ويطعم ولا يطعم ويميت الأحياء ويحيي الموتى وهو حي لا يموت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وأمينك وصفيك وحبيبك وخيرتك من خلقك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك أفضل وأحسن وأجمل وأكمل وأزكى وأنمى وأطيب وأطهر وأسنى وأكثر ما صليت وباركت وترحمت وتهننت وسلمت على عهد من عبادك وأنبيائك ورسلك وصفوتك وأهل الكرامة عليك من خلقك. اللهم وصل على علي أمير المؤمنين ووصي رسول رب العالمين عبدك ووليك وأخي رسولك وحجتك على خلقك وآيتك الكبرى والنبأ العظيم. وصل على الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين. وصل على سبتي الرحمة وإمامي الهدى الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي. هججك على عبادك وملائكة في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم صل على ولي أمرك القائم المعمل والعدل المنتظر وهفه بملائكتك المقربين وأيده بروح القدس يا رب العالمين. اللهم اجعله الداعي إلى كتابك اللهم اجعله الداعي إلى كتابك والقائم بدينك. استخلف في الأرض كما استخلفت الذين من قبله. مكن له دينه الذي ارتضيته له. أبدله من بعد خوفه أمنا يعبدك لا يشرك بك شيئا. اللهم أعزه وعزز به وانصره وانتصر به وانصره نصرا عزيزا وافتح له فتحا يسيرا واجعل له من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. اللهم أظهر به دينك وسنة نبيك حتى لا يستخفي بشيء من الحق مخافة أحد من الخلق. اللهم إنا نرغب إليك في دولة كريمة تعز بها الإسلام وأهله وتذل بها النفاق وأهله وتجعلنا فيها من الدعاة إلى طاعتك والقادة إلى سبيلك وترزقنا بها كرامة الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما عرفتنا من الحق فهمنا وما قصرنا عنه فبلغنا. اللهم المن به شأسنا واشأب به صدعنا وارتك به فتقنا وكثر به قلتنا وعزز به ذلتنا واغن به عائلنا واغذ به عن مغرمنا واجبر به فقرنا وسد به خلتنا ويسر به عسرنا وبيض به وجوهنا وفك به أسرنا وأنجه به طلبتنا وأنجز به مواعيدنا واستجب به دعوتنا واعطنا به سؤلنا وبلغنا به من الدنيا والآخرة آمالنا واعطنا به فوق رغبتنا يا خير المسؤولين وأوسع المعطين. اشف به صدورنا واذهب به غيظ قلوبنا واهدنا به لما اختلف فيه من الحق بإذنه إنك تهدي من تشاء إلى صراط مستقيم. وانصرنا به على عدوك وعدونا إله الحق آمين. اللهم إنا نشكو إليك فقد نبينا صلواتك عليه وآله وغيبة ولينا وكثرة عدونا وقلة عددنا وشدة الفتن بنا وتظاهر الزمان علينا. فصل على محمد وآل محمد وإن على ذلك بفتح منك تؤجله وبذر تكشفه ونصر تعزه وسلطان حق تظهره ورحمة منك تجللناها وعافية منك تلبسناها برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
ڈر قرار یا ہے ڈر قرار جبرائیل نوحہ پرتے ہیں مارے گئے علی مارے گئے علی او مولا اے کائنات پہ تلوار چل گئی یا ہے ڈر قرار یا ہے ڈر قرار مسجد اداس منبر کوفہ اداس ہے تیرا میں خدا کے ولی کا لباس ہے روتا اے آسماں اے زمین غم سے پت گئی جبرائیل نوحہ پرتے ہیں مارے گئے علی مارے گئے علی او مولا اے کائنات پہ تلوار چل گئی یا ہے ڈر قرار یا ہے ڈر قرار مسجد میں روزہ دار پر کیسا ستم ہوا اور کبھی سے آری صدا و مصیبتاں غم سے نبی کی قبر بھی اب کان پہ لگی جبرائیل نوحہ پرتے ہیں مارے گئے علی مارے گئے علی او مولا اے کائنات پہ تلوار چل گئی یا ہے ڈر قرار یا ہے ڈر قرار ہائے ہائے یتیم و شبر و شبیر ہو گئی آباس دل کو تام کے روتے ہوئے چلے سر سے ردائے زینب کلثوم کے گر گئی جبرائیل نوحہ پرتے ہیں مارے گئے علی مارے گئے علی او مولا اے کائنات پہ تلوار چل گئی یا ہے ڈر قرار یا ہے ڈر قرار دنیا میں بے کسوں کا سہارا نہیں رہا اوٹا جو فلک سے ستارہ نہیں رہا عرش بری پہ فرش ازعا چھا گئی جبرائیل نوحہ پرتے ہیں مارے گئے علی مارے گئے علی او مولا اے کائنات پہ تلوار چل گئی یا ہے در کرار یا ہے در کرار مولا میرے خون میں اپنا نہا گیا بولے فرشتے آئے کیسا ستم ہوا ہورن رک کہتی تھی دنیا اجڑ گئی جبرائیل نوحہ وہ پرتے ہیں مارے گئے علی مارے گئے علی او مولا اے کائنات پہ تلوار چل گئی یا ہے در کرار یا ہے در کرار زہرا رات میں روتی ہے ڈر کے واسطے کہتی تین چن قبر کے اندر نہیں مجھے بچوں پہ میرے غم کی قطع جو چھا گئی جبرائیل نوحہ وہ پرتے ہیں مارے گئے علی مارے گئے علی او مولا اے کائنات پہ تلوار چل گئی یا ہے در کرار یا ہے در کرار ریحان اور تجانی رونے لگا قلم آنکھوں سے ہوئے جاری ہوئے آئے عاشق غم چلتے ہوئے قلم کی میرے ساتھ سے رک گئی جبرائیل نوحہ پرتے ہیں مارے گئے علی مارے گئے علی او مولا اے کائنات پہ تلوار چل گئی یا ہے در کرار یا ہے در کرار یا ہے در کرار یا ہے در کرار فستو برب الکعبہ صلوات
Please, 3 loud salawats to welcome Mullah Riyaz. Allah.
سورة البركة الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق الصلاة والسلام على الرسول المسدد والمصطفى الأمجد سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد صلى الله عليه وآله الطاهرين وبآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم ومبغضيهم وغاصب حقوقهم من يومنا هذا إلى يوم الدين أما بعد فقد قال الله تعالى في كتابه الكريم وهو أصدق القائلين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. I begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent and the Merciful, for all praise belongs to Allah for giving us this wonderful existence and for giving us this opportunity once again to be the azadar of Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi afdalus salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala. And today we present our condolences to holy and sacred grandson of Imam Ali alayhi salam, Imam Hujjat ibn al-Hassan, Qa'im Imam Ali Muhammad, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Allahumma salli ala. Today, brothers and sisters, we remember a person who was unique in every respect. I mean, I cannot even do justice to the personality of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam within these 30 or 40 minutes that we can do, but what we can do is try and get some lessons from his life or get some lessons from his disciples, that we may be not like him, but we may be like his disciples and companions. Amir al-Mu'mineen, brothers and sisters, was the kind of person who never had a lack of admirers till today. The problem that Ali had and continues to have this very day isn't that he has a sufficient, that it's not that he had a sufficient number of admirers and lovers and those who respect him. Because Ali is like the most beautiful ocean, as we say, the deep blue ocean. Anyway, anyone who sets his eyes on any corner of this ocean will fall in love with this personality. Anyone who sees these blue waters of the ocean will inevitably and without a stress of doubt, if they have no disease in their hearts, if they are able to see beauty as it truly is, will fall head over heels in love with the personality of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Which is why throughout history, believers and non-believers, Muslims, Christians, atheists have fallen in love with Ali ibn Abi Talib. The love of Ali is one of those things that's not exclusive to Shias only. It's not exclusive to you and me or you and I. A very great scholar of the Muslims, the Sunni Muslims, Ibn Abi al-Hadid, he was a Sunni, a historian, a collector of hadith, and he loved Ali ibn Abi Talib so much, he admired this personality, that he has written a commentary and exegesis on Nahjul Balagha in so many volumes, Ibn Abi al-Hadid, to the extent that he has even criticized his own leader, Muawiyah, in it, who came against Imam Ali. And he is Ibn Abi al-Hadid, one of the scholars, and you know, the extreme left-hand Muslim scholars, they brand him as Rafidi, because he says, if you were one of us, then you wouldn't be praising Ali so much. So there was no lack of admirer of Ali ibn Abi Talib's personality. For example, you must have heard this name, George Jordak. I don't know if how many of you have read his book. Assalamu alaikum Ali. George Jordak has written a book, laylat-ul Insaniya. I mean, it's worth reading. This book is literally worth reading. He's a Christian, Lebanese poet, author, historian, a writer who writes about the commander of the faithful, about Imam Ali, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. And when he became famous, I mean, he became a celebrity after writing this book. In Lebanon, for several consecutive years, this book got the Booker's Prize, for several consecutive years. And Lebanon, you know, is a country where there's a lot of intellectuals, very smart people, Arabs, a lot of excellent writers and authors. It's really where a lot of Arab and modern Arab literature is produced. This is Lebanon. It has got a lot of intellectual people there, and the bulk of it happens in Lebanon for the past several decades. And he has written this book, laylat-ul Insaniya, which is in English translated as Voice of Human Justice. And this person's book, to be given an award year after year, is truly amazing. It's just mind-boggling, my brothers and sisters. Think about that for a moment, that this book happens to be authored by a Christian, written about a Shia Imam, none other than Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. His utter infatuation with the personality of Imam Ali is just mind-boggling. This man's utter infatuation. And guess what? He was approached by wealthy, rich people from the Middle Eastern society, those who do not belong to the Shias, and other schools of thoughts. And they told him, now that you've written about Ali, that's fine, Why don't you write about Umar? They are asking him. Why don't you write about Abu Bakr? Why don't you write about Uthman, the first three caliphs who came before Ali? Huh? And write about Muawiyah, he's one of the leaders. I mean, these are the historical characters who achieved a great deal. They left their marks in history. They were kings, and they were rulers, they were commanders of armies, and they conquered many lands. Why don't you write about them? He was asked, George Jordak. And they said, if you are interested in these type of personalities, then we encourage you to write about them, and to coax him into writing about them. They said, we will pay you humongous amount. We will make you rich, wealthy. We will cover all your expenses. We will open literally a printing press for you. This is what they told him. So he said in response, now see what he says. He says, I have used my pen to write about the most pristine character in human history, pristine personality in human history. And he says, having finished writing my book, this al-Sawt al-Adalat al-Insaniya, Voice of Human Justice, I then broke my pen and threw it away. So don't tell me to write about these characters, these creatures that you are talking about. Once I finished writing about Ali, having glorified and having honored Ali, you want me to use my intellect and my common sense and my pen and my hands to write about the likes of Muawiyah and the likes of, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi? This Khalifa and that Khalifa and these creatures? I have broken my pen and I have thrown it away because that pen could never come to the level of writing about anybody else than Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. And this is who? It's a Christian writer. He's still alive today. He's still there in Lebanon, as far as I know. So we see that the personality of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, the point here is, my brothers and sisters, that the point, salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, that non-Muslims fall in love with the personality of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Ali never had a problem of lack of admirers. What was his problem? What was his problem? Imam Ali's problem. Not just admirers. He did not want admirers, brothers and sisters. What is it that Ali suffered from the most? And this is what we lack, actually being Shias. This is what we lack. It was a lack of true believers, a lack of not companions. He had many friends. He had a lack of disciples. There is a difference between companion and a disciple. Lack of partisans, and that's what made the companions, whoever few that they were outstanding. The disciples of Imam Ali, so great that look at Salman. I will give you a couple of examples and I will finish. Look at Salman Muhammad. The narration says that every time, look at his confidence in Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Look at the way he is obedient to his Imam. He says himself, then when I was faced with a choice of two choices, I always thought to myself which one of these choices my Imam prefers. This is Salman. He says, whenever I was faced with a dilemma or choices, I would think, what would Imam Ali prefer? فَكَانَ يُقَدِّمُ حَوَاءَ عَلِيٍّ عَلَى نَفْسِي. Means he preferred to give preference to Imam Ali's choice over his own self. This is Salman al-Farsi. Because in Surah Al-Luqman, Allah says, وَآتَيْنَا لُقْمَانَ الْحِكْمَةِ. And Imam Sadiq says, do you know what wisdom? Hikmah means wisdom. We gave Luqman the wisdom. The wisdom is what? Imam Jafar Sadiq says, ta'atu imama, obedience to his imam. That is what Luqman was. And that is what is required from us, my brothers and sisters. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And this is one of the most virtuous things that we can do, my brothers and sisters. Imam Sadiq says al-Miqdad, about al-Miqdad ibn al-Aswad al-Kindi. Miqdad, we've all heard about Miqdad. I will give you 2-3 examples. I mean, I can give you examples upon examples. I can, just talking about the disciples, those few that he had, Imam Ali, the whole night. I can talk about them the whole night. Miqdad, after the death of the Prophet of Islam, Miqdad, one of those true disciples, those true followers of Ali. Why? Imam explains. He says when they were dragging Amirul Mu'mineen out of his house, after the ambush, when they burnt his house down, when they hurt Fatima and the child died in her womb, after that they dragged him with a rope around his neck to go and pay allegiance to Abu Bakr. This is what happened. And Miqdad was right there on the street watching with his hands on the grip of his sword. His eyes were in the eyes of Imam Ali, that you just signal me with your eyes and I will destroy them all. This is Miqdad. And I will fight them. Yeah, from eye to eye, he told Imam Ali, that you give me that signal and I will finish them off. I will fight with them till the last drop of my blood. And Imam Ali, virtue was patient. Be patient no matter what happens. We have heard about Hatim al-Tai. Everyone knows about Hatim al-Tai. Hatim al-Tai died a kafir. He was not a Muslim. He lived at the time of the Prophet, a very generous guy, very humble, generous guy, but he died a non-Muslim. He was neither a Christian nor a Jew. He was an idolater. But, Allah works in His own, mysterious ways. Incredibly, all his children and his grandchildren, you'll probably recognize them, they were all Muslims and they were disciples of Imam Ali, not companions. I'm not talking about friends. They were disciples of Imam Ali. If I name one of them, you will know exactly who it is. Hujr ibn Adi. He is the grandson of Hatim al-Tai. Hujr ibn Adi is the grandson of Hatim al-Tai, and he was, a companion of, a disciple of Amir al-Mu'mineen. He was the one murdered along with his 9 children by Muawiyah, the enemy of Imam Ali. He was murdered with 9 children with Muawiyah's mercenaries because they refused to disown Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. They refused to disown him. And he is this great disciple of Amir al-Mu'mineen who was later buried in Marja Adra, in Sham. Every one of us has been there, most of us. In the outskirts of Damascus is his grave. His sanctuary, which was later bombed and detonated and destroyed by these vile creatures known as ISIS. 1,400-year-old sanctuary, a qabr, a mausoleum, grave 14 centuries old, the disciple of Ali's is not immune from the viciousness and the poison of these vile creatures known as ISIS. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Now, what I want to tell you tonight, to press the points, for our lesson, that many of you may not have heard this incident, because when I read this and when I started writing notes of it, I was myself surprised that why have I not come across, maybe it's my ignorance, maybe I have not listened to the scholars from the Mimbar enough, but Hujr ibn Adi had a brother called Atrimah. He had a brother called Atrimah, and I want to tell you about this Atrimah. In one incident, he sheds a light as to what it takes to be Shia and a disciple of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. And I will end with this. Atrimah, one day Muawiyah writes to Amir al-Mu'mineen, threatening him and saying that I'm going to kill you. I'm bringing my army and I'm going to decimate you and your people. So Imam wrote in a response, he smiled. Imam smiled. And in response to Muawiyah, he says, Muawiyah, you seem to forget that I was the one who killed your grandfather in Badr. And I was the one who killed your uncle in Badr. And I was the one who killed your brother in Badr. In the Battle of Badr, the first battle in Islam. He said, I killed all of these three great people of your tribe who are related to you. Do you remember that day? Imam is asking him, that I still have that same sword which Rasulullah gave me, and I am more than happy to oblige. You come on one-on-one basis and we'll see what happens. Now what he does, Imam took that letter and called to Atrimah, and he said, this is the grandson of Hatim al-Tai, Hujr ibn Adi's brother. He says, Atrimah, I would like you to deliver this little message. Take this letter and give it to Muawiyah. Atrimah grabs this letter, grabs his camel and his provision, and he sets out from Kufa all the way to Sham. Now look at this incident. I mean, it is so enlightening as far as we are concerned as Shia Ali ibn Abi Talib. When he arrives in Sham, on the outskirts of Sham. Now he is entering Sham. This is the turf of Muawiyah. This is the glorified kingdom of Muawiyah. There was a group of people outside the city's main gate, like his soldiers or, his cronies, his mercenaries. Atrimah approaches them and says salam. They said salam. They say to him, who are you? So look at the reply that he gives. It's just unbelievable. He says, قَالَ جِعْتُ مِنْ عِنْدِ التَّقِيَّةِ النَّقِي إِلَى الْمُنَافِقِ الشَّقِي. That I, look at the audacity, that I have a message from that pure and pious soul to the wicked of the hypocrites. Who's Muawiyah, your ruler? And he's telling me on his face. قَالَ جِعْتُ مِنْ عِنْدِ التَّقِيَّ النَّقِي إِلَى الْمُنَافِقِ الشَّقِي. Shaqi means what? A villain, a vile, a wretched person, an evil man. This is Shaqi, and this Muawiyah. And this is his Muawiyah's territory. These people were there. They were all his animals. They were his barking dogs. And this tells you right off the bat that who they are dealing with. They said, hang on a second, hang on. What are you talking about? Who are you? Huh? Why are you speaking like this? So he says, I have a message from my master to deliver to Muawiyah. Oh, they said, wait right here. So they sent a message to Yazid. Yazid was the crown prince. So they sent a message to Yazid, and Yazid ordered them that, send him over to our palace. Let him come. So he comes to the court of Muawiyah. Now, you know what? I need you to paint a picture, imagine. I will paint a picture for you. Muawiyah, in his grand palace, he's sitting on his throne, surrounded by his mercenaries and guards, his aides, advisors, ministers, and slaves. This is the kingdom of Muawiyah in Sham. I'm sure when you have gone to Sham, you've seen that palace. You've seen that mosque also, Masjid Banu Umayyah, Masjid al-Amawi, they call it. So he's sitting there, and Atrimah enters the door, but he refuses to walk because there's those lush carpets and all that. So he stands right by the door and at the entrance of the court. So the Muawiyah from far, he says, who are you? So he says, I have a message from my master to you. So he says, okay, come and hand me the message. Come and give me the letter. So Atrimah says, I would hate to step on this filthy carpet that you have. In other words, your carpet has been purchased with filthy money, which is mali haram. This carpet does not belong to you because this money did not belong to you in the first place. So I will not walk on this carpet, illicit money of Muslims. This is from the treasury of the Muslims that you have plundered. And I refuse to walk on this carpet. Look at the audacity of this believer, of the disciple of Imam Ali. I don't want to step over it. He says, okay, how about you hand it over to one of my advisors? So Atrimah said to him, Khan al-Wazir, your advisors are a bunch of snakes. They are a bunch of treasonous snakes, and they are liars, they are poisoners who work for you. I will not give it to them. Muawiyah says, so, what are you going to do here? You don't want to come in, give me the letter. You are refusing to give it to my advisors. Okay, then hand it to my slave. He had a slave there. So Atrimah says to him, that slave that you purchased with haram and illicit funds, who does your errands for you? No. So Muawiyah says, now, solve the problem. Huh? You don't want to come, you don't want to give it to my advisors, you don't want to give it to my slaves. So solve this problem for me. So you know what Atrimah says? تَقُومُ صَغِيرًا وَتَأْخُذُهَا مِنِّي. Means humiliate yourself, come to me and get this letter. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. تَقُومُ صَغِيرًا وَتَأْخُذُهَا مِنِّي. Means crawl to me and come and get this letter from me. This is the disciple of Imam Ali. How about you get up and humiliate yourself and come and take an Allahu Akbar? How is it that we are disciples, if we are lovers of Imam Amirul Mu'mineen, these are the type of people who are so brave, so truthful, on that edge of sword of justice, my brothers and sisters. Come and take from me. So, Muawiyah gets off his throne. Now, Muawiyah, you know, let me paint a picture for you. Muawiyah was very obese, by the way. If I put it in, a figure of speech, he was a floating blob of fat, literally. This is how Muawiyah was, a floating blob of fat, literally. So obese that historians, they write that his stomach would fall to one either side. Seriously. It was so big that he would physically have to move his stomach into place. That's how fat he was. So obese. Muawiyah. So he struggles literally with his stomach to get up from his throne now. You can imagine. Maybe 300 pounds, 350, 400 pounds. So he struggles to get off his throne, goes all the way to the entrance, takes the lecture from Atrimah. Then he sits down and tells him, you know, Atrimah, that I am Amirul Mu'mineen of this territory, this kingdom. Why didn't you say salam to me? Atrimah says, yes, I said salam. I said salam back to him in Kufa. He says, my Amirul Mu'mineen is in Kufa. And I've already said salams to him, and I'm here now. I have no other Amirul Mu'mineen. That is my Amirul Mu'mineen, not you. He said, well, do you need something from me? So he said, yes, I do need something from you. He said, what? He said, get off that throne and give it to someone who's more deserving of that throne. He's telling Muawiyah in his own palace, in front of his mercenaries, in front of his soldiers, guards, on his own territory. And he says, get off that throne, get off that bloody throne, and give it to someone who deserves it more than you. This is Atrimah, the grandson of Hatim al-Tai. Imagine someone walking right into the lion's den, risking his life with every single word that comes out of his mouth. Then Muawiyah says to him, fine. Would you like me to give you a gift? Now you see, this is how Muawiyah, he switches gears. He used to buy conscience this way. He switches gears and he says, I would like to give you a gift. So Atrimah, surprisingly enough, I was surprised when Atrimah says, sure, I'll take it. Give me the gift. So Muawiyah says, hang on a second. Why would you take my gift but not step over my carpet? So he said, because if it was in my power, I would take your life. That's why I will take your gift. Because this gift that you have doesn't belong to you. But I'll take your gift. So Muawiyah orders his treasurer to bring 100,000 dinar, silver coins, 100,000. Silver coins. Says, Muawiyah, this is not enough. Give me more. So Muawiyah tells his treasurer, give him 100,000 extra. And he says, Muawiyah, this is also not enough, 100,000 more. 300,000. Because he says, my master Amirul Mu'mineen is the owner of this money and not you. 300,000, not you. Give me 300,000. And guess what? Muawiyah gives him 300,000. Then he said to him, you seem to be the most knowledgeable. Now look at this, the conversation that goes on. I mean, listen at each and every word of what I'm speaking about at Rimmah. At each and every word is a word of wisdom, is a word of courage. At Rimmah, he says, Muawiyah says, oh, you seem to be the most knowledgeable, most bravest and strongest of the army of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He says, Muawiyah, istighfir rabbak, means bite your tongue. Look at the audacity. He says, istaghfir rabbak, bite your tongue, seek forgiveness from God. I am the best and the brightest that Ali can send. No. I am the smallest soldiers of Ali ibn Abi Talib. If you could see his other companions, by God, you will drown in their ocean. This is At-Rimmah, telling Muawiyah, in their ocean, which is yet another sign of a true believer, and this is a true disciple. These are the true Shia of Ali ibn Abi Talib. We call ourselves Shia of Ali ibn Abi Talib. How much justice can we do to At-Rimmah? How much can we relate with him as Shia of Ali ibn Abi Talib? No? I mean, so Muawiyah, you see that humility that he had, the humility that you never introduce yourself to an opponent by saying that, oh, I am the big scholar of Islam, I am Hujjatul Muslimin, I am Ayatullah, I am Allama. No, there is no need. It's the worst thing you can do. لَغَرِبْتَ فِي بَحْرِهِمْ لَغَرِبْتَ فِي بَحْرِهِمْ means if you see other disciples of Ali, you will drown into that ocean, Muawiyah. He let him go. So Muawiyah was left speechless. Everyone in the court was left speechless. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to reply to At-Rimmah, just one disciple of Ali ibn Abi Talib. So then, when At-Rimmah left, he took the money to Imam Ali and gave it to him. The 300,000 silver coins. He gave it to him. And then At-Rimmah, Muawiyah turns towards his friends, his entourage that he had with him, and he says, by God, wallah, he says, by God, all of you put together won't be 1/10 of this person, one disciple of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Because this one man, he took all of us for a ride. All of us. We were left speechless. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, my brothers and sisters. That's why Imam Ali used to say in Kufa, Imam Ali used to say in Kufa, he said to the people of Kufa, he was disgusted with the people of Kufa. And he says, Laytani lam arakum wa lam a'rifakum. I wish I had never seen you, and I wish I had never known you. He tells the people of Kufa. They were such a treacherous lot. We do not want to be like that. That Imam alayhi salam turns to us and says, I wish I had not known you. And I wish I had never seen you. Says, Sa'imtukum wallah lakad mala'tum qalbi kayha. This is what he tells him. That Sa'imtukum wallah lakad mala'tum qalbi kayha. How much you have hurt me. How much of arrows of iron that you have put into my heart. This is how he turns towards the people of Kufa. And today is the day, my brothers and sisters, that Ali has left this world. He is ready to leave this world. Amirul Mu'mineen noted his daughter Zainab is crying. Hassan and Hussein and Kulsum were crying. Imam calmed it down and said, please do not cry, because Rasulullah has come to tell me that he's beckoning me towards him. He says, Ya Ali, come to me, hurry to me. Hamza, my uncle is here. We are waiting for you, Ya Ali. Here is your mother, Fatima. She is waiting for me. So I have to go, my children. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Kufa today, on this 21st day of Ramadan, is in mourning. Allahu Akbar. The orphans are all waiting outside, each one with a bowl of milk in their hands. Ya Abal Aitami wal Arami', Ya Ali, the family has gathered. They are all outside with a bowl of milk, waiting to offer to Imam Ali. They say, Ya Ali, Ya Abata, or our father, we have come to know that this milk is good for that person who has been poisoned. And he says to Imam Hassan Hussein, alaykum bis sabr, be patient, my children. Fastumtiru al-fitanu alaykum ka'ta al-layl al-muslim, that there will be a discord, there will be a fitna, there will be a big test, Ya Hassan. He predicted their fate. He predicted each and everyone's fate. He's telling his children, you will be abandoned by everyone, including your friends, Ya Hassan. You will be poisoned to death by your own wife. On his dying bed, on his deathbed, he told him, as for you, my son, Ya Aba Abdullah al-Hussein, فَأَنْتَ شَهِيدُ هَذِهِ الْأُمَّةِ, you are the martyr of this nation, Ya Hussein. They will kill you 3 days without food and without water on the plains of Karbala. And he says, one day you will stand on the plains of Karbala and you will be crying out, Ala hal min nasirin yansuruna li wajhillah. No one will answer your call when you speak to them. The soldiers of Yazid will laugh. They will be laughing at you. They will be clapping their hands. And no one will listen to your words, Ya Hussein. Then he grabbed the hands of Abbas. He grabbed the hands of Abbas and started kissing it. And he says, Ya Abbas, I can see you on the plains of Karbala with your severed hands, blood flowing out of the arteries of your body, and with a gurzi'ahan, means a three-pronged spear right into your forehead, Ya Abbas. He looked at the corner of the room and he says, Assalamu alaikum ya malaikati rabbi. He looks towards the Qibla. He sees the angels there who have come to pick him up. And he says, Assalamu alaikum ya malaikati rabbi. Ajarakum Allahu ya mu'mineen. He then straightens his legs and says, Limithli hadha falyamalil amilun. Amirul Mu'mineen sees the face of Rasulullah, the face of Fatima. فأركان جبين فأسدل يدي ومد رجلي وفاضت روحه الطاهر. Our Imam straightens his legs, straightens his hands, and then his ruh, his soul, passes away to heaven. And the voice of Zainab bin Kulthum heard crying till outside the house. The orphans and the widows and the mu'mineen who had gathered around, they realized the tragedy that had befallen them, and they all started crying outside the house, saying, قَدْ قُتِلَ أَمِيرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ عَلِيِّ ibn Abi Talib وَلَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. Matam ya Hussein.
फौजे मलक साथ है, सर खुले जिब्रील है, हो गया महशर पपा, आता है ताबूत ये, फातिमा फिरदौस
سے نکلی ہے سر پیٹتی، کہتی ہوئی اہل عزا آتا ہے تابوت یہ، شب برو شبیر نے چاک گرے با کیے، پیٹتے ہیں کربکا آتا ہے تابوت یہ، زینب مغموم بھی روتی ہے سر پیٹتی، ماتم و گل ہے بپا آتا ہے تابوت یہ، حیدر کرار کا آتا ہے تابوت یہ، پیٹو سر لے عزا آتا ہے تابوت یہ، یا حسین
یا حسین، چادروں کا نام سن کر رو پڑی بنت علی شام کے دربار میں، چادروں کا نام سن کر رو پڑی بنت علی شام کے دربار میں، واہی جابا کہہ رہی تھی سیدہ کی لاڈلی شام کے دربار میں، چادروں کا نام سن کر رو پڑی بنت علی شام کے دربار میں، چادروں کا نام سن کر رو پڑی بنت علی شام کے دربار میں، کرسیوں پر قاتلان شاہتے بیٹھے ہوئے سایہ دیوار میں تھے سب حرم لیکن کھڑے، باوفا کو ڈھونڈتی تھی دختر شیر جری شام کے دربار میں، چادروں کا نام سن کر رو پڑی بنت علی شام کے دربار میں، چادروں کا نام سن کر رو پڑی بنت علی شام کے دربار میں، حکم حاکم نے سنایا مار دو بیمار کو، اس جگہ ہی قتل کر دو قافلہ سالار کو، گر پڑی عابد کے اوپر ہائے نازوں سے پلی، شام کے دربار میں چادروں کا نام سن کر رو پڑتے علی، شام کے دربار میں چادروں کا نام سن کر رو پڑی بنت علی، شام کے دربار میں کون ہے زینب پکارا جس گھری فرعون شام، ہائے غربت کہہ کے اٹھا تھا میرا قیدی امام، اشک خون کے رو رہا تھا شاہ کا بیٹا علی، شام کے دربار میں چادروں کا نام سن کر رو پڑی بنت علی، شام کے دربار میں واہی جابا کہہ رہی تھی سیدہ کی لاڈلی، شام کے دربار میں یا حسین
رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر، رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر، رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر، کیا یاد علی کو آیا ہے بازار شام مصلی پر، رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر، رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر، خون جاری تھا زخمی سر سے روتے تھے نمازی صف میں کھڑے، خون جاری تھا زخمی سر سے روتے تھے نمازی صف میں کھڑے، کس طرح حسن نے رو رو کر کی فجر تمام مصلی پر، رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر، رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر، کیا ماں کی طرح لینے تم کو مسجد میں چلی آئے زینب، کیا ماں کی طرح لینے تم کو مسجد میں چلی آئے زینب، بابا کو جا کر تو فضا میرا پیغام مصلی پر، رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر، رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر، رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر، زخمی پہلو جب یاد آیا زخمی پیشانی بھول گیا، زخمی پہلو جب یاد آیا زخمی پیشانی بھول گیا، زہرا کی مصیبت پر رویا مظلوم امام مصلی پر، رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر، رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر؟ یہ پہلی فجر ہے زینب کی، سجدے میں سکون ملتا ہی نہیں. یہ پہلی فجر ہے زینب کی، سجدے میں سکون ملتا ہی نہیں. دل ڈوبتا ہے آتا ہی نہیں، ایک پل آرام مصلی پر. رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر؟ رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر؟ دیوار کعبہ بیٹھ گئی، الحمدللہ میں ڈوب گئی. دیوار کعبہ بیٹھ گئی، الحمدللہ میں ڈوب گئی. امت سے ملا ہے مولا کو کیسا انعام مصلی پر. رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر؟ رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر؟ اس غیرت دار کی غربت پر روتے ہیں علی کی غربت بھی. اس غیرت دار کی غربت پر روتی ہے علی کی غربت بھی. 40 برس جو کہتا رہا شام شام مصلی پر. رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر؟ رو رو کے علی کیوں لیتے ہیں زینب کا نام مصلی پر؟ کیا یاد علی کو آیا ہے بازار شام مصلی پر؟ یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین.
اٹھا کوئی جنازہ پھر سیدہ کے گھر سے، اٹھا کوئی جنازہ پھر سیدہ کے گھر سے، اٹھا کوئی جنازہ سیدہ کے گھر سے. حسرت برس رہی ہے ایک ایک بام و در سے، اٹھا کوئی جنازہ پھر سیدہ کے گھر سے، اٹھا سے. یہ کس کو رو رہی ہے زینب تڑپ تڑپ کر؟ یہ کس کو رو رہی ہے تڑپ کر؟ یہ کس کو رو رہی ہے زینب تڑپ تڑپ کر؟ جنت میں سیدہ نے چادر گرا دی سر سے، اٹھا کوئی نازا پھر سیدہ کے گھر سے، اٹھا کے گھر سے. جس نے خدا کے گھر کو بخشی تھی آ کے زینہ، جس نے بخشی تھی کہ زینہ، جس نے خدا کے گھر کو بخشی تھی آ کے زینہ، وہ آج ہو رہا ہے رخصت خدا کے گھر سے، اٹھا کوئی جنازہ پھر سیدہ کے گھر سے اٹھا کوئی جنازہ گھر سے ہے بند آنکھ شاید آرام آ گیا ہے بند آنکھ آرام آ گیا ہے بند آنکھ شاید آرام آ گیا ہے مولا تڑپ رہے تھے 19 کی سحر سے اٹھا کوئی جنازہ پھر سیدہ کے گھر سے اٹھا پھر سیدہ کے گھر سے اٹھا کوئی جنازہ زینب کے بازوؤں کو شبیر چومتے ہیں زینب کے بازوؤں کو ہے زینب کے بازوؤں کو شبیر چومتے ہیں کیا جانیے علی نے کیا کہہ دیا پسر سے اٹھا کوئی جنازہ پھر سیدہ کے گھر سے اٹھا سیدہ کے گھر سے قاتل کو اپنے ٹھنڈا شربت پلانے والا قاتل کو اپنے ٹھنڈا قاتل کو اپنے ٹھنڈا شربت پلانے والا بے چین ہو رہا ہے خود زہر کے اثر سے اٹھا کوئی جنازہ پھر سیدہ کے گھر سے اٹھا کوئی جنازہ پھر سیدہ کے گھر سے حسرت برس رہی ہے ایک ایک بام و در سے یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین محمد و آل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم.
سبحان اللہ والحمد للہ ولا الہ